Hello again. I spoke yesterday about the plan that Britain should compensate developing nations in Africa and Asia for the supposed effects of climate change. Some of those commenting seemed a little sceptical about the idea and thought perhaps that I was exaggerating. Not a bit of it. In the description to this video, I give a link to a piece which reports that the charity War on Want has calculated that Britain owes £1 trillion to the Third World because of all the harm done by the carbon dioxide produced since the Industrial Revolution. That is £1,000 billion. Rishi Sunak said in Sharm el-Sheikh that it is morally right to send a lot of our money to places which had suffered from climate change, places like, specifically, Pakistan. By an eerie coincidence, the director of War on Want, who has come up with that figure of £1 trillion, is called Asad Rahman. Anybody wish to guess where his family are from? In the description to this video, I described this scheme as a protection racket, and that is precisely what it is. We are being told that unless those developing countries receive £1,000 billion of our money for starters, then by 2050 there will be 1 billion refugees from climate change. The threat is unmistakable. We're all currently worried about refugees landing in England at the moment. Just wait until there are 1 billion of them camped out near Calais. However, this can be avoided if only you fork out £1 trillion today. What we are seeing is an attempt to steal our money and make destitute our nation, all in the name of fairness and compassion. And if that doesn't cause us to cave in to the demands, then the threat of 1 billion refugees heading this way should do the trick. One point springs immediately to mind when thinking about this attempted extortion. In the last 8 years, China has chucked more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere than Britain has done since 1750. I give a link about this figure in the description to this video. The emissions from China are rising rapidly while ours are falling. Why do you suppose that those demanding money with menaces are not threatening China in this way? After all, there can be no doubt that China is far more to blame for any supposed climate change in this country. Could it be that the Chinese would simply laugh at such impertinence? Or might it be the case that if they were not feeling in a particularly good mood that day, they might instead drop an atom bomb on the heads of those trying to put the bite on them? The reason that this scam is being used against us is that we have for many years now shown ourselves to be weak and easily made to feel guilty about everything bad which has ever happened in the world since the dawn of recorded history. It's a bit like the way that a mugger chooses his prospective victim when he's on a tube train late at night. Some of the passengers look uncompromising and tough. They are the ones that might be apt to fight back and be more trouble than they're worth. Then again, there are people who sit hunched up in their seats, timid and fearful, who will very likely do as they're told under the threat of violence. Those are the ones whom the mugger will follow off the train and rob. There was, of course, a time when Britain was one of the tough guys that nobody would mess with. In 1850, when Palmerston was Foreign Secretary, he lost patience with Greece because a British citizen had been assaulted there, and the Greeks weren't in a mood to compromise with him or apologise or do anything much. At a dinner party, he was interrupted by an official messenger who handed him a note. He scribbled a note in response and sent it off with the messenger. A woman at the table asked what it had been about, and he said that the Greek government had sent him an insulting message. "What reply did you send?" asked the woman. "I did not send a reply," said Palmerston. "I have sent a warship." If only this country had something of that spirit these days.